You're listening to BrainJuicer Bites.
Hi there, welcome to everybody. I am Federico Trovato from BrainJuicer, a newly appointed Chief Client Satisfaction Officer for the company. I have the pleasure today to talk to Professor Francesco Bof from the Italian University of Bocconi. He teaches in the management school of the master for the Bocconi Universities. Francesco has a wide experience that ranges from project management, program direction, business development in business aspects, but also in sporting and many different other disciplines, and has developed, I would say, a new and inspiring way of looking at innovation. So the theme of today is innovation, and is a new approach that defeats most of the knowledge that we have currently on the processes and the talents needed for innovation. Francesco, tell us what your thinking is and your approach.
Thank you, Federico. Thank you very much for introducing me. My approach to innovation don't want to be the formal academic approach, but I want to use a more spontaneous and immediate approach, the approach of the person that is capable of being surprised in front of new, unusual, unique happenings, situations, phenomenon of the innovation, phenomenon in which there is somehow a change. And because of the context, of the ways they develop, or because of the results of these happenings, situations, phenomena. And this is related with human being and the people behaviors, with man and its capacity of innovating.
So I could say then a behavioral approach to innovation. This is very interesting.
Yes. And the most simple you can imagine is just, the person, or, we could also say the kid, that
yes.
is hit, shocked, astonished in front of, of phenomena and of unique happenings. So that I will prevent from giving, definitions of the concept of innovation strictly related to nowadays rules and mechanisms on how society, organizations, markets, governments, and public services, business, economy works.
Okay, so what is it, Francesco? What is it that you want to tell us?
I want to try to talk and to open a discussion about the thesis statement that is innovation is first of all about motivation through two examples, of real-life example of death-life situations. And one is famous, and it is what happened in the case of Apollo 13. There was also the movie with Tom Hanks that many people knows. And what happened, it was that, the astronauts during their mission to the moon, coming back, they had a problem, so that they hadn't enough air and oxygen to come back to the Earth with the space shuttle. So that the team of NASA experts had to create, to build from scratch an air filter in a very short time, just some hours, in order to try to save their life, and they managed to do it. So they just used materials that had been produced for other scopes in a new way, in order to save some other people's life under the time pressure. And so in this case, the necessity, and the motivation, the fact that if they weren't managing in that, the whole mission would have been failed, and people would have died, brought them, to give a solution.
Here we move, in fact, from life threatening situations, and creativity plays a role. So how do we combine all of these elements, in your opinion, to actually bridge to the business world?
Yeah, all right. Here, what comes out, from the two examples is that innovation comes from necessity. Necessity creates motivation. Motivation can bring to innovation, and it's an ancient story when the man, for necessity and so motivated to do it, discovered the wheel, or when the American Indians discovered new ways to hunt buffaloes in order to survive and to help their communities, and so on. And there are hundreds of examples. So if we extend the concept of necessity, to the concept of needs, human being needs can be material or spiritual, means that we must try to understand people's needs in a specific context, cultural context, or in different geographical area, in order to stimulate people towards innovation and in order to give people motivation to innovate. We must give people a reason, of course, and the reason based on the main needs. Needs is not always, luckily, a death life reason. So that the key word is the purpose. The purpose can, create the motivation, the necessary motivation sufficient to innovate, to change. And so this is, this means that also in a company, in an organization, in a community, this is a fundamental aspect for change, for innovation, and then also for ethical purposes, for ethical scopes,
Very interesting,
for improving our societies and so on.
But Francesco, as an academic now, you are destroying, the major concepts of innovation. There is no more process needed. It is not about the talent or the creativity, but it's really fundamental, meaningful purpose that drives innovation. I tend to buy it because I think the process comes afterwards. I would say after you have the motivation. So, what do you think?
Absolutely. In fact, then one thing doesn't exclude the other. Talent can be extremely important, of course, but I think in many cases, talent without motivation gives no result. First, in some other, motivation is anyway more important than talent, so that you can obtain innovation, or in general, better result from a normally talented person, but with a strong motivation, than the opposite, than from a
highly talented
person and with no scarce motivation. And anyway, talent, and also in sport is we have a lot of examples for which great talent gives no result if for different reasons hasn't the
right
sufficient motivation to use it. To use it and to make an effort because innovation, change anyway generally needs an effort, a constancy of purpose. Again, purpose comes out.
Very, very interesting.
Yes, and we could conclude that it can be that innovation can itself help in discovering talent. So it's not talent, or it is not just talent for innovation, but innovation for discovering talents. For example, the talent of creativity. Many people probably die or will die without knowing their creative potential, or without knowing they have a great talent. This means that sometimes then it can be worth to facilitate, create situations or contests in order to motivate people to try to innovate, and in order so doing to discover new talents, new skills, new abilities, new qualities. And then in this case, innovation and what your attempt to bring towards innovation, to stimulate towards innovation, become a tool for discovering new talents. And for example, a company contest in which, and the case of BrainJuicer, can be, I think, a good example in which purpose, mastery, and autonomy are, facilitated. A company that really does this effort can be probably very innovative. And also, this is also what Jeremy Rifkin wrote on his book about empathy in this world. So again, we have also a high referenced author that can help us in this.
So, Francesco, I think you're giving a great hope to all companies. Find the right motivation, and you will also discover the talent that you have in your company and your organization, and this will lead to meaningful innovation. I think if you want to summarize, let's say, our past 10 minutes of discussions. Francesco, I want to thank you very much for your contribution and your inspiration.
Thank you very much to you, Federico.
And thanks also to everybody for listening, and please visit our website for the next Bites.
Thanks for listening to BrainJuicer Bites. For more about BrainJuicer, visit our website, brainjuicer.com.